It's no big deal. I think my great niece is playing in it.
3 through 1A, tennis, girls, slalom. 3 to 1A.
All right, I think we're ready to start. We'll call the order. Roll call. We'll start with Denny.
Denny Walgren.
Dana Casso.
Larry Pencratz.
Ashley Campbell.
And as a staff confirmation, the Kansas Open Meetings Act notice has been properly provided.
Yes, it was.
All right, I guess I did roll call first. All right, any guests?
Nope.
Okay.
Angelica is a staff member.
I thought so. Citizens Forum? Trent, Citizens Forum? Okay, thanks.
Well,
Sure.
actually, I was going to ask after the meeting, Trent Davis, City Commissioner, and I don't need a definitive answer now, but would like to know if there's any broad, long-range plan for how Parks and Recs handles Bondi Field as far as upkeep, maintenance, and what our plans had been for it.
Sure.
Thanks.
I can get that for you.
So is that the field by Sunset? Okay.
Correct.
I need a motion on approval of the agenda.
So moved. I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, vote, say yes.
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 Opposed, same sign. Approval of minutes.
So moved. I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor of approving the minutes.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Activities reports.
Thank you. As I normally do, I'm going to go through a few highlighted items. Travis is going to go through recreation, athletics, and field house items. Under parks, we opened up the dog park at Parker Park near Carver Center. So we put in some of those pieces that we had delivered, whether they be dog waste stations or benches, to put into that new dog park. I've had some good comments. I've heard some good comments. I've heard it, quite a bit being used. The animal services staff do check on that, and they are helping with maintenance to empty trash and make sure the dog waste bags are full. They said it has some relatively consistent use. The fourth one down under Parkside, we have done this for the past 2 or 3 off seasons, if you will, where there was a master plan item relating to removing some of the old concrete benches in Oakdale, Sunset, and Kenwood Parks, and Thomas Park. And so they are continuing that yearly process to identify those concrete tables that have, exposed rebar, exposed metal, or chipped concrete, and removing those.
For those WPA?
I would not, I don't know. I would not say they're old. They were done about that time. Yeah. I'm not sure, does that make them WPA? I don't know. But if they were done as part of the CCA or the WPA, it's certainly possible. Under landscaping, so we had a project which I believe is complete for the 9th Street medians to refresh the landscaping there, removing the mulch, and that is complete. We had some pretty significant irrigation repairs that were completed as well while that work was being done. And under facility maintenance, we had some vandalism in the soccer complex bathroom. So the toilet was destroyed, so we had to replace the toilet and toilet seat. Also at Dean Evans Stadium, as part of our ADA transition plan, that drinking fountain that was at Dean Evans Stadium was too high. So it had to be lowered like a few inches. And to do that in a brick facade of a building is rather tough. But we did it. and we actually put in a better drinking fountain to do that with. It was more of a bottle filler style drinking fountain. And as you can see under the Berkeley Family Recreational Area dugouts 1 through 4, we had a fields 1 through 4. The dugouts are being remodeled or refurbished. I think it's really a fascinating thing that we got a quote for this work from a contractor, and their quote was $100,000. We did it for $15,000. So in materials and with our own labor, of course. So self-performing work. It's another example of how when we are able to self-perform work, whether it be in parks or facilities, it's really a advantageous thing. Let's see. I'll let Travis go for it with the field house athletics and whatever else he wants to talk about.
Okay. Last board meeting I mentioned probably August is probably the slowest month for us. September's not. So we get ramped up again with fall activities, both indoors and outdoors. A lot of our fall programs begin at the beginning of September. Adult volleyball, we have 27 teams playing there. That's just a strong, consistent program that we have year round. So that's good. Youth volleyball, 20 teams. We play on Sundays. And it's pretty packed in that gym. So that's one of our higher participation or spectator events as well, and that's on Sunday afternoons. I mentioned this before, Smoky Valley Homeschool utilizes the field house for all their practices and all their games and tournaments, both volleyball and basketball. So that's been a good addition to our facility. They utilize it more in the early, middle afternoon when nobody's quite there yet from school or getting off from their school or work or work, and they usually get there around 5:30. Well, Smoky Valley's already done, with their practices. So it's been a good addition to our facility. Youth NFL flag football, that's a good one. It's, again, a lot of spectators there. We have our championships tonight. If you care to stop by, little second and third graders, they wear their NFL jerseys and they think they're on top of the world. So, that's just one example of a program that we have to cap. We're dealing with high participation, which is great. I'll try to deal with those problems all day long. But that's one that we do have to cap the number of teams due to space and officials. So that's a good problem to have, like I said. So on Fieldhouse events, we didn't really have too much in August, but we're starting to ramp up with some events. Smoky Valley Homeschool, again, had a smaller volleyball tournament, and then they are going to have one of their big ones next weekend. So we're really looking forward to that. And then we have our second annual Special Olympics cornhole. So we had on the turf side, so we set up some cornhole boards for them, and that was pretty cool. Really enjoyed that. Outdoors, Amy has our outdoor youth soccer leagues. Again, utilizing the Salina Soccer Complex just to keep you in tune that we do spread those teams out for practices. Of course, they love practicing at the complex. The turf is very nice, but we spread them out to Bill Burke, Oxbow, those type of facilities just to reduce the wear and tear on that grass. So, but she's at 34 teams. Like I said before, when I was running the program, I had 3. So she's doing a good job there. Bill Burke, I'll try to get you some team numbers, but the Yard runs a fall baseball program there with teams. Let me get some numbers there for you, but they had added softball to that this year as well. So kind of have more of a league experience for fall. And then we do have some fall tournaments, and I'll speak to here in a little bit. But it seemed like fall ball is becoming more of a thing, in Salina, and utilizing Bill Burke in our facilities, which is a great thing. 31 adult softball teams. That's a lot. Nothing like the heyday, right, of 200 teams I remember playing out there in the summer. but it's good to see that adult softball is kind of making a semi comeback. And it's showing in our adult softball tournaments as well. Maybe they may be smaller numbers, the tournaments, but they're still operating. They're still getting back, and fall is a good time to play those. Our outdoor events, USA Softball, which a huge user of ours, and they had 3 tournaments this fall. One of them occurred in September. That one was 33 teams. 33, or in that 33, 35 number is your max that you can pack in the Bill Burke. To have all games running there in one day, go by there on a Sunday when they're operating, because it's a sight to see. But we had 2 more here in October, and we're getting to the point where, again, anything over 33 to 35, we have to open up BFRA fields for overflow, which we had to do this fall. And we're anticipating doing that next fall as well, to book some of those fields for overflow.
I want to commend Amy for the league. Everything's running, from what I've seen, everything's running really smoothly. The officiating, just how timely everything is, it's gone really well.
Soccer?
Soccer, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Just
She's on the ball, in case you haven't
she
noticed.
really is.
Okay.
I know the little painting thing has given her some.
Fits?
Yes.
Okay.
But she's done.
His name is Dave. Our painter's name
that's
is
right.
Dave. Yeah, we named him Dave.
Well, Dave has given her some fits, but she has done a fantastic job.
Okay.
And like I said, the officiating has been fantastic.
Yeah.
So everything's just running really smoothly with
pass
that part.
I'll pass that down. Thank you. As I mentioned, adult softball, we've had some tournaments, and then that's just because we've built some league, back to us, so we're getting some tournaments too. So October numbers will be even bigger yet. That's all I got, unless you have any questions.
A couple last minute items or not last minute, but a few additional items for the activity report before I finish. Wanted to point out the forestry accomplishments, cemetery accomplishments. Those are very data-driven reports to you every month. And I wanted to point out and I don't normally get a chance to, or don't normally take the chance to point them out, but I think I'm going to start for those 2 categories where those 2 divisions where they're very data-driven, showing month to month to month, and almost putting a table in there. Starting probably soon to show January, February, March, and then showing the cumulative number because you're seeing the same thing every month, but putting the context of what they did as in the cumulative for the year, I think would be pretty interesting because we do full tree removals, right-of-way cutbacks, low limb complaints, stump removals, the number of burials for the cemetery. I'm gonna make that a little more expanded for the board for the activity report, and I'm also looking to do the same thing with the animal services animal shelter report as well, to more of a data-driven approach. And this is what we did in the month of September, unless the board has any concerns about that, that's how I wanted to show that in the future. Last thing with the golf course. We were talking before the meeting started. They were preparing for 321A Girls State Championship, which is October 20th and 21st, and then they had the 5A State Girls Tourney on October 13th. And that's all I had for activity reports. Again, I didn't cover every bit of information, nor did Travis. But if you have questions or questions, we can answer them.
Well, I thought it was interesting that I was up on Indian Rock yesterday and they're replacing that railing. I was wondering even how old that thing was. It just kind of started falling off, huh?
What we believe was the water, the runoff just kind of made it looked somewhat unsafe.
Yeah.
So we felt it was something we want to get onto, and so myself, Troy Reinert, the facilities maintenance superintendent, and Dennis met up there and came up with a solution and made it happen.
It's looking good. Yep.
I also brought up, do we need this overlook? Is this something we should just put a railing up and remove the rest of it. But I think I was overruled. I think it was an important piece of our park system to have that overlook there. So we committed to keeping it, but doing it better.
I think there's a lot of people that are up there. I mean, I think you'd be surprised how many people are up there on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I'm up there a lot. So. Yep. Anything else? New business, Indian Rock presentation for Pathways Grant.
So Brett and I, and Angelica, she is our grants coordinator for the city of Salina. Brett and I, Parks and Recreation, are submitting a grant for Pathways Grant. It's for accessible pathways in our future playground at Indian Rock Park. If this board recalls, some of you might recall having a conversation with you about Glenifer Hill Park, that we went through a process to identify it as surplus land. And we went through an exercise to declare it no longer a park, just public land. And with the idea of the sale of that property, we would be intending on using the funds from the sale of that property to put in a playground at the northwest corner of Indian Rock Park. And so that is that is part of our playground replacement plan, and has been for a long time, to move the playground that was at Glenifer Hill to Indian Rock. We have the opportunity that was presented to us from Angelica to apply for a grant through the Blue Cross Blue Shield. Provides Pathways grant and allows for submissions of grants for accessible solutions for people to get to one place to another. But we felt it was a good submission, or a good idea, to include this project at Indian Rock Park as a potential Pathways grant submission. So we kicked that off this week. We had a meeting with the grant folks and Angelica. And I wanted to share with the board the presentation that we provided. Some of this got cut off in the print, it looks like, maybe. Let me see what Travis's look like. Yeah, some of the words got cut off. Apologize. But we have a concept for the playground at Indian Rock Park to be our biggest playground that we have. And it would be somewhat of a destination style playground, that it would have several inclusive features, that it would be for people with typical non-disabilities and people that have disabilities as well. So it'd have that inclusivity of having options for people that have disabilities. The accessible pathways in Indian Rock would provide access to this playground from the trail system that's already there. We'd like to modify the gravel trails and convert those to concrete trails so they're a smoother pathway. There is amenities with Indian Rock Park on the north end already. There's a bathroom. There's parking lots, so we want to be able to provide accessible pathways to this future playground. The funding of this playground and the infrastructure that's going to go into it for those accessible pathways, like I said, that for the sale of the land at Glenifer Hill Park would be one aspect. The other would be the potential of this grant, which could be up to $50,000. The other would be through our normal funding process for playground replacements, which right now is scheduled for 2027, which is a large chunk of change. But we wanted to start with a phased approach, so we're not looking for a all-in-one playground solution. But if we put a playground in, we're going to have those accessible pathways to get to it. So I put a scope of work in here. I think the most interesting thing is I provided the scope of work. You can read through that. I provided some snippets from our playground replacement plan. Some of the playgrounds we did recently in the last 10 years, and what is upcoming. Let's see, Kenwood Park and Bill Burke Park are the two on the second page of the future replacements. Those are already being ordered. Matter of fact, we already are removing, demoing the old. We should be doing that soon. Demoing the playground at Kenwood Park near the train. And then we have Riverside, which Riverside's kind of on hold until we figure out more about the river, what the river plan is, river renewal plan, and how it's going to impact Riverside Park. And then Indian Rock, you'll see, is that fourth one down. Conceptual design, which I think is probably the, as far as the board, the one that you can absorb the most. Brett put this conceptual design together of what we like to do in that northwest corner of Indian Rock Park. That road to the north of there is Gypsum Avenue, and the road to the west is Indiana. And to give you an idea, those existing gravel trails we would like to convert to concrete trails. We see a future where a parking lot could be there, which is a little bit further down the phased approach. We see a future where a shelter house would be appropriate for this 8,000 square foot playground space. Like I said, this playground would be the largest playground we have. It's not as large as Olivia's playground, which is the hospital-run playground, but it'd be similar in style and in use, where if there is a inclusive playground in town where it could be used by many and every level of ability, that would be one of them. So we want to kind of do something like this in this location. And you'll see connecting sidewalks from parking, from shelter to the playground, from the existing parking, from the bathhouse. So this is what we intend on pursuing. I gave just a definition from a manufacturer of playgrounds, what an inclusive playground would look like. I gave an example from a manufacturer of what an inclusive playground looks like. I gave an estimated timeline. And then I basically asked from the committee about getting their involvement. And they seem to be receptive to that, would you say? They seem receptive to continuing on and having conversations with them. They asked two things of us, staff, to do would be to identify the populations of focus that would use this playground and how would this impact those populations of focus. And then also, how would we get a hold of those people? How would we engage with those people? How can we talk to those people to get their feedback? And feedback would be, so we, like a preliminary design and getting their feedback from that preliminary design. We have hired an architect to help design this for us so we can have something, a blueprint to work from basically for the next 4 to 5 years over this phased approach. And somewhere in the middle of that design phase, we would have that preliminary design to have those conversations with those populations of focus so we can do some adjustments and get their feedback and provide that to the grant committee to go through the process. And, you know, every grant out there has a process, and that's why Angelica does what she does, because she's familiar with the process. So she's helping us follow this process and getting it through and going through the proper steps. But any feedback from the board would be appreciated, especially about the populations of focus and how we can reach out to them. Seems like we don't have a lot of, active community participation in this board. I would love to be, this board would be a nice opportunity, but, we don't get a lot of public here unless they want to complain or they want a future to look like something like sand volleyball or dog parks, those interest groups that come to the board. But we just did a focus group, open house listening session, if you will, for the Boys and Girls Club proposed use of Bondi Field near Sunset Park. and it was a good turnout, 30 to 40 people, more like 40, and that was a good session. So could be like that as well. But any feedback you're willing to provide, I would appreciate.
So when's the grant due?
I believe, I don't recall. I believe we have to have, I think it's about March. We need to apply in March. Yes. We need to apply in March. That's the timeline they outlined for us. We would need to have those identify those 2 objectives before then, and then about that time, I might be coming back before this advisory board, and then also coming to the governing body to ask for a resolution of support before the submission of the grant around that time. So January, February, March.
You don't need any action in today?
I don't know if I need an action today, looking just for feedback.
I think it's great because there, Coronado School has an accessible playground in the middle of town, with the one there by Oakdale Park.
Is constantly busy.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
So it'd be nice to get something in the northeast part of the city.
Yeah.
A nice big park. I mean, Lakewood has a really nice playground. It's my level, but this is a good one for accessibility.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Good. Any other comments? I'd be happy to take them.
Is the Glenifer Hill property been purchased?
We are in negotiations with a purchaser.
Okay. So there's movement that.
There has been movement on that.
Perfect.
We did. So some of the steps from when you saw it as a board was we put it out for an RFP for proposals to purchase. We had 2 proposals. We've been negotiating with one of the proposals since that time. It has taken longer than I thought it would, but again, I don't know anything about real estate transactions. But there is a negotiation with a potential buyer for that property.
I haven't been in those restrooms in a really long time. Is that enough restroom space for that big a park?
Good question. It is a seasonal bathroom, so it's open seasonally. I believe there's 2 fixtures per bathroom, 1 fixture per bathroom.
Pretty small.
So it could be, you're right, we should be looking at that.
I feel like we should probably talk about that.
Yeah. If it's as popular as we're planning for.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're planning for a shelter house bathroom, shelter house parking lot, yeah.
Any other questions, comments?
I was curious on the inclusive playground example. Where does that actually fit into the conceptual design?
I think it's that blue part.
It doesn't.
It doesn't, okay.
That's just an example of what an inclusive playground would look like from a manufacturer.
Okay.
We do not typically, our typical process for playgrounds are we reach out to playground manufacturers, we give them a list of what we want to accomplish, and then they give us proposals as to how we believe, or they believe we can accomplish what we want. So we don't playground design, so it's hard to give a conceptual idea of what we want in that 8,000 square feet. Sure. I think Brett probably can answer this question better than I am right now, but I'm trying. So I'm not sure if I answered your question, Denny.
You did.
Okay. We don't design playgrounds. We're not going to give a playground design. Most likely, give a playground design to the grant committee. It's just not it's really not something we have the capacity to do or the expertise to do. We create the footprint. This is the area in which we would put playgrounds at, and we give it to the creative minds of playground designers and manufacturers to come up with it. with criteria that would be, we want these inclusive features, we like this feature, but we want something like, so whatever criteria we come up with our proposal. We certainly can possibly do reach out beforehand, but when we reach out to these playground manufacturers, they want a funding commitment, they want a purchase commitment. They're not necessarily always they're always somewhat reluctant to provide that when they know that we're just getting information. So anyways, that's probably more information than you wanted, but
Can we go back to the bathrooms?
of course.
From a mobility standpoint,
Yeah, that's a good point.
it's kind of far. And if we're looking at being inclusive in assistive devices and all these things, that's kind of far. One, for a child to do that by themselves, but two, if we're going dirt road, gravel, whatever the Indian Park Road is, that's kind of far for a potential non-able-bodied person to
Right. I agree.
do that.
Well, we're all in luck. We are currently designing this. The conceptual was just that. It was a rough conceptual drawing, so thank you.
Good feedback. Anything else? I don't see any old business, so project updates.
I think I reported on the Jerry Ivy splash pad last month. We've selected colors and design and layout, and we are reviewing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Angelica. We chose design and colors and layout for the splash pad at Jerry Ivy. They are starting their plan review, and then they'll have, and it's from construction drawings. They have a preliminary set of construction drawings they provided us this week. We reviewed those today, and we'll have those back to them today. And then they'll start their process of getting approvals for manufacturing of the equipment. That's very exciting. Sand volleyball at Jerry Ivy Memorial Park is complete. The dog park at Parker Park is complete. The Barkley Park dog park improvements are underway. We're waiting another 8 to 10 weeks for the shelter houses, the pavilions to arrive to provide shade. There's 3 of them on the way. They're 12 foot by 20 feet shade structures. 9th Street median landscaping improvements is complete. And we are underway on concrete improvements. I know they started with playground ramps, and they did all the playground ramps. And I think are they in Oakdale yet? And then they started in Oakdale doing the improvements in Oakdale. So, and that's all. That was a quick one. But if there's any questions about any other project or anything else, let me know.
Did you want to address Trent's question on Bondi Field?
I'd have to. I mean, I can give it. Probably we can give an answer about maintenance of Bondi Field, but it'd be. I don't know. I'm not sure it would be data driven, as in I'd probably need to do some research to provide an answer to that.
You're asking to see who's managing it. Is that?
We at Monday's meeting, some representatives of the Mexican-American Baseball League came. They had gone to the open house for the proposed location for the Big Brothers Big Sisters, which would take the large field at Bondi Field, which is where they play on Sundays. Their concern was that that's the only free field in Salina where you could actually play a game. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, I guess our operating model is not to have free field. Most younger kids probably play pickup games at school playgrounds. So I have more questions than answers, but we have fields at Bill Burke and East Crawford, but they got to pay to use them, which is different from a free field. And I'm just wondering if that field is kept up to the standards to where we're expecting games to be played on a regular basis. I kind of got the impression, and I will admit I don't have a reason to go over there very often, that the field was just kind of there. It was being, the gate's open, we're not striping it, we're not, we're mowing it, but we're not going to any great lengths to have it game ready. But are there any other free facilities, or is that a somewhat unrealistic expectation for a league to, plan to have games on a regular basis? Again, I got more questions than answers, but that league did present us with their concerns about taking Bondi Field, and of course their other question was, were there any other vacant parkland, that Big Brothers could go to, and I know those representatives have looked
I think you're talking
over the entire city.
You're talking about the Boys and Girls Club.
What did I say?
You said Big Brothers.
Yeah.
It's
on that board once, and it's, I start the B sound, thank you.
That's right.
My brain was playing it over, I said, boy, it didn't quite sound right. But Boys and Girls Club. And so, we're going to try to get, set up a dialogue, but I just don't know what options there are in Salina, or if having a free field is something that we plan to have available for public use, or not.
I can answer. I can try to. I wouldn't say I'm answering your questions, Dr. Davis, but I'll just spill some information, I guess. We do have other freely available fields. We have fields available at Burke. They are in demand, and they are free. We have a limited amount on a seasonal basis, unless we're preparing for a tournament, and we lock them to have that tournament. But anywhere between 2 and 3 fields are available at Burke on a day-to-day basis. We also have free fields available at Berkeley Family Recreational Area, even though I believe they reported that they were locked. We do not lock fields 1 through 4 at Berkeley Family Recreational Area. We only lock them if we're preparing for a tournament. Like on a Friday, we did the maintenance, we lock it so we can be prepared for the tournament the next day. And then we do have, most of our fields are reservation based, where you pay a fee to reserve it if you want to guarantee your spot. The comment that was made on Monday is correct. There is a high demand for fields, and there is a probably even higher demand for fields that don't have a fee. Yeah, and I had some more things to add there, but I forgot what it was.
And what if they would reserve a field, what's the basic fee for a field, just for usage?
For a game.
For a game.
Yeah, we do set by commission. We went through that exercise with commission, and then to reserve a turf field, there's a certain fee for, just a private team. League teams do get them free. We do reserve them for free during the league season. There is a game fee if someone wanted to reserve it for a game. So there are those steps, that have different fees to them, and that's pertaining to Bill Burke, because they are after turf. A lot of course, the teams prefer the turf. We do have fees and set for if they wanted to reserve it, like Berkeley Family Recreational Area 1 through 4, those fields. If we have to maintenance it, chalk it, water it, that type of thing, there's fees in place for that.
Has this group that talked on Monday requested anything from you? Have come talk to you to say, what's the fees and things like that?
Yeah, at the beginning of the year, they approached us and about utilizing Bondi Field. It's grass.
Yeah.
So that kind of attracts them a little bit as being grass, and it actually in return helps us a little bit as far as this is dating back to the Steve Snyder days, okay? So we got complaints of dragging the fields. The dust was going in the homes. our maintenance crew is located clear across town, and the odds of them getting over there clear across town to maintenance, there's just some logistics issues when it pertains to that. So at that time, then we converted that to grass, all grass, tore out the fencing. The lighting was snapped in half. So we were running those issues, but it really we put it to grass, Bermuda, and it serves as more of a drop-in public football, baseball, softball, soccer, and it's and that's what the vision was, and it still gets used as that drop-in. But to answer your question, the Mexican American League approached us, say, hey, we would like to have some events there on Sundays, and there's no extra maintenance involved with the city of Salina. So it said a good fit for them to have it there.
But there's really no reservation process there, right? So if someone else was there first, they would have rights.
Correct.
For them.
Yeah.
You do reservations for those 2-3 months of baseball season.
Yes. So the 2 to 3 months of baseball and softball season, it serves heavily during that time. Because if you imagine when league games start there in May, third week of May, all Bill Burke fields are off the grid from practicing. So teams need to practice elsewhere during that time of May, June, and July. And Bondi, I call it Bondi 1 or Sunset, is heavily utilized during that time. So did I have to arrange a few things to coordinate that? You bet. Yes.
Historically, I guess historically, Travis knows more of the history than I do, but as of, I've been here 9 years, it's always been known as the practice field. And I think this is a new phenomena of them playing games here just last year and this year. And so I'm not sure if that.
Well, it sounds like you've actually already had conversation with them, so we're not starting from ground zero in this discussion.
Correct.
And probably have them come in and
So the maintenance
see what options exist. And
as far as maintenance hours and hours involved, I'd have to do a little more data analysis and getting information about mowing and trimming, things like that. So
I guess my other concern, the field is safe for games as they're playing it now.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it is.
Isn't there 2 fields out there?
There's
Like
3.
one to the east and one. There's at least 2. One to the east and
There's
one to
3.
the west, like by the railroad track.
There's actually 3.
Okay.
Okay, so Bondi 1 is the grass. It's bigger.
Right.
And then their league is adults. So it requires more space than like Bill Burke or, those.
Big Brothers Big Sisters is taking that first field.
It's boys and girls.
I'm following in Dr. Davis.
Did you see what you started there? Yeah, so that first
Big Brothers, Big
field
Sisters.
with most of the ground, which is grass, is the proposed area of the Boys and Girls Club. Okay, I got that right.
And then the land, yeah.
And then there's a field to the south,
Yes. Okay.
and that is referred to Bondi 2. That's a little bit bigger too, and there's a dirt mound built into that one. That's served as more of our 13 and 14-year-old teams because it's got a little more space to it.
Okay.
Not quite a bit big enough for the Mexican American League, but bigger. And then there's one to the west, and we call that Bondi number 3. And it serves for more of your fast pitch softball teams to practice, or your 10 and under maybe baseball teams.
Okay.
But it's a smaller infield. And then you got the Kansas Westland that we have agreement is there. They do utilize it in the spring for their track and field. Yeah.
And the comment was made on Monday night about the proposed land that Boys and Girls Club is requesting would impact fields 2 and 3, but Boys and Girls Club has already stated that that would not be the case. They want to use and share their space. They want to share their facility. I don't think they have a desire. They're not here to speak with them, but what they shared with me was that they don't believe that field 2 and 3 would be impacted. It would still be, matter of fact, they want to help us improve them, they want to use those as well. So just that's the context of Dr. Davis's questions, but I will get more information about the amount of maintenance we have done over there. It's not to the level, I can tell you it's not to the level of Bill Burke or Berkeley Family Recreational Area.
That is correct. Our field maintenance is located clear across town, so during season we try to get over there at least once a week, to spin out the fields that are dirt, and Parks is over there mowing.
And then, so it's a couple different departments have an input there.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
A second.
All right, we got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you.